Hello, good evening. Welcome to Look North. Our top story tonight. The world first clinical trial in Sheffield that could offer hope to MS patients and their families.
It gives people that, 10, 15 years of not having increased disability. So it's given our future back, hasn't it?
The study will use stem cell treatments for patients with aggressive multiple sclerosis. Also tonight, as expenses go up, we talk to hospitality businesses trying to keep costs down.
We're with fans of England and Wales as the two nations face each other at the World Cup. Yay!
And the international artist working with a primary school to design a brand new masterpiece.
And it's been another grey and cold day. Is there any improvement coming up in the next few days? Join me for the detailed forecast.
Thank you for your company this evening. The first trial of its kind anywhere in the world is taking place in Sheffield, which it's believed will offer real hope for patients with an aggressive form of multiple sclerosis. The condition affects the brain and the spinal cord, causing a wide range of symptoms. The study involves giving sufferers stem cell treatment as a first port of call. Research 4 years ago showed the treatment led to life-changing improvements for some MS patients, as Corinne Wheatley reports.
So they took them out, I think it was about the 15th of April.
When Colette Edwards was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2010, she expected a lifetime of disability with an unpredictable condition.
It's a little bit like being a storm chaser. You never know where or when the storm is going to hit, and you also don't know how severe the storm is going to be. So your symptoms can be really varied depending on which part of the brain is being affected at any one time.
In 2016, Colette took part in a clinical trial in Sheffield for people with relapsing remitting MS. The treatment involved wiping out her body's faulty immune system with chemotherapy, removing her stem cells from her blood and bone marrow, and later transplanting them back into her body. The treatment made a huge difference to her life.
So I can walk for miles and miles, I can ride my bike, I can plan anything I want to do. We've been on some wonderful holidays. It just takes away that constant niddle, that doubt of, how long am I going to be able to maintain at this level of function.
Now, the same treatment that Colette received is going to be made available in a new world-first clinical trial led by researchers in Sheffield. The STAR MS trial will run in 19 sites across the country, involving around 200 patients.
Half the patients will be randomised to the stem cell transplant procedure. The other half will be randomised to one of 4 modern disease-modifying treatments that are licensed for MS, and ultimately we should get an answer as to which is the best treatment based on effectiveness and safety.
For the first time, we're offering this treatment to patients with aggressive disease before they try and fail at the standard therapy that we have at the moment. So we're hoping really that by treating patients quite early into the course of their illness, we'll stop really the illness at its track and stop patient acquiring and accumulating disabilities.
The eligibility criteria for the trial is strict, but researchers hope it could revolutionise care for some patients. For Colette, it's meant no relapses and living life on her own terms.
People are not using the word cure, but that's what it gives people, that 10, 15 years of not having increased disability. So it's given our future back, hasn't it?
Corinne Wheatley, BBC Look North.
News for Colette. Let's hope it helps many more. Next tonight, hospitality businesses, which should be gearing up for the Christmas rush, say they're having to find new ways of keeping costs down and keep the doors open. Some bars and restaurants are even closing on less busy days and evenings, as industry experts warn some might not survive if running costs continue to rise. Abagiola sent this report from the market town of Easingwold.
Jordan's Olive Branch restaurant survived through COVID restrictions, and he was hoping this year would be easier. But it's not. and there's little sign of the usual festive rush.
Bookings are slower. They are gradually coming in, and we are getting some of the larger events as well, but there's definitely a kind of downturn in that booking early and things. I think people will tend to just go out for a drink rather than a meal and celebrate with friends that way.
The restaurant is open 7 days a week but has started to close on some evenings to keep overheads down. Jordan says trading now is harder than it was during COVID.
So all the costs of every single kind of line within the business, through food costs, energy costs, staffing costs, are high as well. So it's a perfect storm for a business of declining sales, increasing costs. So it's a tough time.
And Jordan's not alone. According to industry experts, more and more hospitality businesses are facing difficulty.
So people are turning their hand to everything they can to be able to make a profit, to try and stay afloat. But 1 in 3 businesses have no cash reserves and 1 in 3 are not making a profit at the moment. So they are quite fragile. What they're doing at the moment is closing for certain days of the week, hours of the day. They're also cutting their capacity and occupancy so that they can manage with the demands of staff and the reduced costs.
Across the marketplace from the Olive Branch is the George Hotel and Restaurant. They're busy and bookings are filling up. But rising costs are having an impact.
Trying to be a little bit more efficient with particularly our energy usage. Certainly we have some plans for changing significant bits of equipment in our kitchen. We've changed certain aspects of our heating system. We're fortunate that the George has got sort of multiple facets with its hotel and a restaurant and a bar. And all of which are doing quite well, but noticeably our suppliers are struggling to cap their costs and passing them on to us.
For businesses at the sharp end of those increasing prices, the challenge is cutting costs without cutting corners. Abby Jola, BBC Look North, Easingwold.
You're watching Tuesday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. Celebrations for George Webster, the first BBC children's presenter with Down syndrome and now Bafta winner. A woman from Barnsley says more needs to be done to raise awareness of perinatal obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, so women can get the help that they need. If untreated, the condition can keep coming back. Now, perinatal OCD affects 2 in 100 women in pregnancy and up to 3 in every 100 women in the year after giving birth. So what exactly is it? Well, if you suffer from OCD, you may have thoughts or images that keep coming into your mind. These are called obsessions. You can suffer from anxiety, usually as a result of the obsessional thoughts. And you can keep repeating those thoughts and actions to try to reduce your anxiety. These are called compulsions. I've been speaking to Natalie about the impact of perinatal OCD that it had on her second pregnancy.
Are we ready? Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the water spout.
Natalie is leading today's baby yoga session at this group in Barnsley. The mum of 2 works in early years and has always been confident around babies. But in January this year, her life was turned upside down. 11 weeks into her pregnancy, she became anxious and started to get intrusive thoughts. It led to a pattern of repetitive behaviour that she kept secret from everyone.
So I'd check the door handle 4 times, I'd check my car door 4 times, I'd have to shut doors sometimes 4 times, light switches, turn them on and off 4 times to feel like I could be safe and that something bad wasn't going to happen. Completely took over my life.
10 months ago, Natalie hit crisis point when her husband returned home from work and was unable to get into the house.
I was having intrusive thoughts of someone breaking in, that there was going to be a fire. So I ended up ordering a fire extinguisher, some fire blankets. I ended up barricading the windows, the doors with furniture that I had, pieces of wood that I could find. And that's when I opened up and explained all the things that I've been going through over the last few months.
Natalie was diagnosed with perinatal OCD. She started cognitive behaviour therapy and joined the Mums Understand Mums support group at Barnsley Library, run by mental health midwife Yasmin Akhtar.
Women don't realise that when they're pregnant that hormone imbalance is going to have an impact on them. So they think, I've addressed OCD throughout my life, but then in pregnancy it can be triggered furthermore, which can lead to intrusive thoughts. Again, it's okay to feel that way. It's what we can put in place to help.
What do you offer that other mum and baby groups don't offer?
There's nowhere else in the country that do a group that's facilitated by a midwife and professionals during the pregnancy and up to baby being 6 months. It's really needed because mental health needs to be talked about, and we need to make sure that women know that it's okay to feel that way.
Natalie is now enjoying time with her new baby Grace and wants to raise more awareness about perinatal OCD. How are you feeling now, Natalie?
I'm feeling lots better, really happy, we're all settled. I want to spread the word to mums, to partners, to family members, to notice those signs and symptoms. Because the moment I got early intervention support, it absolutely changed my life. So I'm just really hoping I can do the same for other mothers and other pregnant people.
Let's talk now to Lee Wolbank. She's the Chief Executive of OCD Action. Thank you for your time, Lee. 2% of women affected by OCD in pregnancy, 3% after the birth of the child. Is that a conservative estimate, would you think?
Yeah, we think so. So some research has been done in the last sort of year or so that's shown that actually, certainly post-pregnancy, that actually it might be as high as 7% of women that are experiencing OCD.
So most people have heard of postnatal depression. Is there enough awareness around perinatal OCD?
So actually, again, we're quite concerned that there isn't enough awareness of perinatal OCD. And again, research has been done recently that suggests only 10% of mums know that perinatal OCD is something that could occur perinatally, pre-birth or post-birth.
How recognised is it by doctors and midwives?
So, you know, I think that's really difficult to tell. I think there are some amazing doctors and midwives out there that would pick this up. But I think one of the things that can occur is that it can be very difficult for new mums or new dads or people when they're pregnant to talk about that they're having these intrusive thoughts. And I think that's really understandable. But the important thing is that people know that there are safe places that they can go to if they are having these intrusive thoughts, like, for example, coming to a charity like us to talk about them in a safe space so we can support them to reach out to their doctor and make sure they get the right treatment.
Just very briefly, what's your advice for anyone who's watching and they recognise what we're talking about here?
So I think the really important thing is that OCD, perinatal OCD, is very treatable with CBT and ERP, and we would really encourage somebody to reach out to their GP, or if they want to a charity like us, to explore how they access that treatment.
Lee Wolbank, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next tonight, will you be watching the TV tonight? Well, millions of us, I think, will be glued to the match. England take on Wales in the World Cup. There are 4 players from Yorkshire in the England squad. John Stones from Barnsley, Calvin Phillips from Leeds, Harry Maguire and Kyle Walker, who are both from Sheffield. Dave Edwards is at a club in West Yorkshire where some big fans of both nations will be watching the game together.
Yes, welcome to the Baildon Hall Club. Now, dozens of people are going to be here watching the game tonight on the big screen. We'll talk about England in just a moment. But first, let's go over to a proud Welshman, because the club president here is Oswin Parry. Listen to the reaction. Here he is. Oswin, how does it feel being surrounded by your opponents tonight?
I'm well used to it. I'm with Billy No Mates half the time. When England play Wales, it's just me sat in the corner in my red and everybody else in white cheering for the other side.
Not the best start to the World Cup for Wales, has it? What's gone wrong so far?
We should have beaten Iran, I think. I think if we'd beaten Iran, we'd be comfortable, even if we'd had a draw. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be, so we've got to beat England, haven't we?
You've got to beat them to stand any chance of getting through. How do you rate your chances of doing that realistically this evening?
If England play like they did the other night against the USA, and Wales play the best game they've ever played, I think we'll be all right.
Might need some good performances from Gareth Bale, Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah, we need a few free kicks down the edge of the penalty area. A penalty maybe. Gareth steps up and hopefully we'll be okay.
Well, good luck, Oswin. Thanks very much indeed. Right, let's move over to Judy, England fan here.
I'm really excited. I feel very sorry for him. He lives in hope. You know, Gareth Bale, lovely, love his hair. But we've got Harry Kane, lots, really good players. I think it will be 2-1 to England, obviously.
Obviously.
Yes.
Not the best performance against the USA, though, was it? 0-0 draw, pretty boring game.
Very, very boring. But on the other hand, there's been a lot of other boring games as well, hasn't there, throughout it? Not just with England.
It's been a mixed bag, hasn't it?
yes.
But everyone's going to be friends come 9 o'clock.
Yes.
There was a hesitation there.
Yes.
Let's hope so. All right,
Yes.
Judy, Oswin, thanks very much.
Thank you
Everyone,
so much.
enjoy the game. We're just over an hour from kick-off now, and that game, of course, live here on BBC One, so you don't even need to change the channel.
I've got headband envy. Love that headband with the flags on. Now, staying with football, but a bit closer to home than Qatar, the draw for the third round of the FA Cup was made last night, and there's a huge game ahead at Hillsborough because Sheffield Wednesday have been drawn against Newcastle United, who are third in the Premier League. Meanwhile, Chesterfield are one of the few non-league clubs left in the competition. They've got a home tie against West Brom. Now, do you recognise this? Here he is. Where is he? That way. Do you recognise this famous face? It's George Webster from the CBeebies house. Now, we first met George from Leeds on Look North in September last year when he became the first ever BBC children's presenter with Down syndrome. And now he's celebrating winning a Bafta for his on-screen work presenting CBeebies. That's amazing, isn't it? He attended the awards ceremony in London on Sunday night. He'll be telling us how it all went shortly, but first let's have a look at him in action.
Hello!
Hi, George!
Hello, George!
Oh, hello, everyone! Hello, George!
Hello, Justin. It's lovely to see you. I made you a delicious smoothie. I call it the Something Special Smoothie.
Oh, George, it's freezing. Look at this, it's snowing in the CBeebies house.
Now let's do one last thing, Dodge, and that is a massive roar.
All right, in 5,
4, 3, 2, 1, roar!
Bafta winner extraordinaire joins us. George, congratulations. How do you feel to win such an amazing award?
Oh, thank you, Amy. I feel really, really privileged, really honoured, and I'm really, really proud of myself.
Oh, so you should be. You really should be, George. Now, tell me about the night. What was it like? Did you see any famous faces?
I did, actually, yeah. I met Danny Harmer, Perinatal speaker. She's the one that presented my award. And also, I met Molly and Carlos Strictly.
Fantastic. It sounds like a star-studded night. Now, George, we first met you on Look North when you had just started presenting on CBeebies.
Yeah.
How's the job going?
It's going really well. I'm loving every single minute. I'm on my Christmas jumper right now because today I've been filming some Christmas links with Dodge. And next Monday at 5 o'clock we have got a Christmas show coming out and watch it then. It's brilliant. Enjoy it.
Oh, we will. It's never too early to get Christmassy in my household. George, you are the first BBC children's presenter with Down syndrome. What response do you get from viewers?
Oh, the viewers have been so supportive. They've been really positive from every single person.
Well, George, you have actually been one of our most popular Look North guests. When you came on the sofa, the audience response was incredible, so we know that our viewers love you. Why is it important to have someone with Down syndrome presenting a programme like yours?
It's so important for all people who, like ourselves, to be represented in the media, TV, film and other things, because we're people, we exist, we deserve equal opportunities and we deserve respect, as you always respect yourselves.
We do, and you are wonderful, George. What's next for you?
There's more makeup work, acting work. I've got Casualty coming out, World on Fire. I'm in a new theatre company, Separate Doors, lots of stuff.
You sound like a busy man. Let's have a look at that award. Hold it up for us. Wow, look at that. You know what's next, George? The only thing to top a Bafta? An Oscar.
Yeah, oh, an Oscar, that'd be brilliant.
George, congratulations. We're really pleased for you.
Thank you, Amy, thank you.
My favourite guest ever. Now, art classes have come a long way since the days of potato prints and colouring books. In one school in Leeds, an internationally known artist is working with the children to make a brand new masterpiece just for them. She's well known for her transformation of a section of Hadrian's Wall and hopes to make something equally eye-catching for Leeds. Kathy Killick has been to see her in action.
Bright, bold and invariably mood-boosting, the work of Morag Myerscough is internationally renowned. Her work's been shown from South Africa to Romania, but her latest project is at Ebor Gardens Primary School in Leeds.
If you went out the doors there, what would you like to see?
She's gathering ideas for an artwork at the school based on the wishes of the children and their artistic ideas.
It did appear that nature and colour came out as the strongest elements that would make them happy. There was real want to have a happy space, which I think then now is a big thing that we've got to achieve, and I definitely think we can do that.
The Wellspring Academy Trust that runs this school is keen to showcase art. Commissions by other artists have brightened the playgrounds of 8 schools so far, and more are planned.
Morag coming to work with us in one of our schools is a source of great pride and excitement, and is an incredible coup for an artist of such renown to want to work on this initiative and do something amazing for this community.
The children are already producing great work, all inspired by Morag's, and under her guidance, they've been making patterns, which in turn inspire her.
I can take sections of these patterns and make other patterns. And I love this one because it's more controlled and very, very carefully done. There's such a diversity in the pattern making here, and I just can see straight away what I can do with this.
I was colouring them with mixed colours. I like mixing colours as well because it's so fun and beautiful to mix it, and they make new colours. I have like a flower. And I had like all the different colours around the flower, like a rainbow flower. I feel like it makes me happy and it's very colourful and bright.
Once the ideas have percolated, Morag will return to the school next year to make her new artwork. If these ideas are anything to go by, it'll be truly madly fabulous. Cathy Killick, BBC Look North, Leeds.
They're lovely, aren't they? Sheffield Cathedral is launching its impressive annual light show this evening. This will be its 3rd Christmas display called The Manager. It runs for 6 nights until Sunday, the 4th of December. The event has quickly become a Christmas tradition for Sheffield, and the cathedral is gearing up to welcome thousands more people again this year. That looks fantastic. Now, 2 new species of rare fungi have been discovered at Hardcastle Crags near Hebden Bridge. The ancient grassland, which is managed by the National Trust, is part of a study into rare fungi. Some of them are among the most threatened species in the world, as Paul Bonner has been finding out.
Amid the fog-laden landscape of Calderdale, a group of volunteers stride into the mist. They're on a mission to record rare species of fungi, some of which are the most threatened in the world.
So this is a Jubilee waxcat. It's one of the ancient grassland indicator species. We've never found this in the Hardcastle Crags grasslands before, so it's a really good find for today.
The fungi thrive on the hillsides above Hebden Bridge. These fields have remained unmanaged over centuries, with just 3% of ancient grasslands surviving in Britain since the 1940s. Well, this specimen here is called a pink waxcat. It's also known as a ballerina. And the reason it's called a ballerina is because if you look at it, the cat lifts into a shape which resembles a tutu. Studies on 135 fields on 15 sites in and around Hardcastle Crags have taken place.
We have some of the best habitats for these fungi in the whole of the world, and I think it's worth recording. People need to understand that this is our little rainforest. You know, in all over England we've got them, but we've got some of the best sites in Europe and definitely the best sites in the world, and we need to preserve them.
The caterpillar feeds on the roots of the plants and it ingests the spore from this fungus, and then the fungus grows through its body, fills it with its mycelium, and then once it's fully digested, the fruiting body comes out of the top, the spores are released, and that process happens again.
The work carried out by the National Trust has revealed new species of rare fungi have been identified for the first time in the UK.
The species we've seen today, we've seen 4 or 5 species which are on the red data list, the global red data list, and they're classed as vulnerable to extinction. And the reason they're classed as vulnerable is because the habitat, which is what we're looking at here, is itself vulnerable and is being lost at quite a dramatic rate. There are species here which we still know very little about, but we do know that it's a very important and highly complex ecosystem.
The fruiting bodies with their rich colours are what we see on the surface, but below the soil is where the magic really happens, thanks to a landscape which has stayed much the same for hundreds of years, helping the fungi make these hills their home. Phil Bodmer, BBC Look North, Hebden Bridge.
What did the mushrooms say to the toadstool?
I've no idea.
I'm just a fun guy.
Thank you for that, Amy. We're just replacing pointless, actually. It's a bit like that joke. Let's have a look at the pictures that have come in the last few hours. Look at that Reg saw in Penistone with the wind turbines, again, not moving very fast, but just at the top of that fog bank there. Lots of sunshine on that hillside. The next picture is a stunner in Linton. That's Upper Wharfdale with the fog on the top of the hill just rolling down into the valley bottom, but also some sunshine there. And just look how lucky this person on the beach was. It's a bit of a beam me up Scotty one, that, isn't it? With one single shaft of sunlight on the beach there in Filey. Keep the pictures coming in on Twitter, Instagram and on the Weather Watcher website. So the headline for the next 24 hours is more of the same. Grey and cold. We continue to have fog up at the airport. Current visibility is around about 200 metres, although the planes have been landing actually this afternoon, so it's not been as thick as it has been. High pressure ridging in then from the east. It's a very slack setup, but I think into the weekend we'll pick up more of a flow from the east, so it's going to be a chilly breeze once it develops, but it looks as though it's going to stay generally dry. You can see the extent of the low cloud there with the hills stuck out into glorious sunshine. This evening and overnight then extensive low cloud, mist and some fog. Where the cloud does break over the tops of the hills, there will be a frost, but generally speaking we're looking at temperatures around 3 or 4 degrees Celsius. So tomorrow's high water times in Scarborough at 9:10 and again at 9:25 tomorrow evening. So a grey, cold start to the day, with fog slowly lifting into low cloud. And again, there's a chance of some sunshine over the spine of the Pennines, the top of the Pennines, and perhaps like today, a bit of brightness appearing along the coast. But certainly the Vale of York, Trent Valley and elsewhere, it looks set to be another gloomy late November day. If you're lucky, we're looking at temperatures around 6 or 7 degrees, just a light drift from the south. The further outlook, not much changing really, although on Thursday there is a hint that we could see a little bit more brightness, especially on Thursday afternoon. But Friday and the weekend we keep a lot of cloud, temperatures trending downwards, and that's because the breeze will pick up from the east or the northeast, and that might bring a few rain showers in, especially to eastern parts of the region. Amy, that's the forecast.
Thank you. What time's kick-off?
7 o'clock.
Build-up starts now.
Yeah, can't wait.
I know it's going to be a good one. That's it from us. Sally Hurst is here with your late news a bit later on, around 11 p.m, I think. Enjoy the match. Bye-bye from us.